Traders Corner is proudly brought to you by IG, the specialists in CFD trading.
Welcome to Traders Corner. As always, we're joined in studio by founder and editor of Traders Corner, Garth McKenzie. Garth, thanks for joining us as usual.
Hi, Samay. Nice to be here.
Been a rather aggressive sell-off in the markets in the last while.
Yeah, it certainly has. The last week has been very aggressive. We've actually witnessed our market falling about 3,000 points since just before our futures closeout. So effectively from last week Wednesday until the lows of this morning, we've dropped over 3,000 points. And from our high on the top 40 index, we're down more than 4,000 points. So it's actually been a fairly sizable correction in our market. It's more than 10% in magnitude, which is a pretty healthy correction.
Well, given all of that, doom and gloom as it were, I believe you entered a new trade.
I did, yeah. Last week we did a new trade in Aspen, and it actually did work out quite well for us. I've got the chart of it up on the screen at the moment, and just to recap and show why we did this trade, there was an uptrend, a very steady upward trend that came in at around about 180 Rand a share, and that uptrend line that I've got on the chart there actually goes back quite a lot further than what I've got over here, but this is the more recent trading action of the last year or so. There was also a lateral area there at 180 Rand, indicating the pivot lows that we had seen in April. So what I did for our portfolio last week was I bought 600 CFDs of Aspen at 181 Rand and 60 cents with a stop loss at 177 Rand. At the time, I only actually entered half a position, but the market moved so quickly I didn't actually end up adding to this trade at all. So it very quickly rallied to our target price, which was 200 Rand. And I decided to exit the trade at that point. I banked my profit. And notwithstanding the fact that it was a small position and it was only half a position, we still banked a pretty healthy profit there of 10,560 Rand. So that's all closed out, and it was a good trade in retrospect. And I think illustrative also that in this market lately, you've actually had to be quite quick with banking your profits.
Yeah, and you'd have had to bank it quite rather quickly because the share did subsequently move back.
Yeah, that's right. It's come back down into the lower 180 Rand area again. And I think there'll be some viewers that might look at that chart and say, well, have we not perhaps got a bit of a head and shoulders pattern starting to form over there? And while that might be the case, I'm not sure. We'll have to monitor that in the weeks ahead. But for now, this trade is closed, and I'm quite happy with the profit we've made on it.
All right, so we've closed Aspen. What about your short position in Anglo American?
Yes, this one took some time, but it's worked out very well for us. I'm a big believer that if you're going to play the market from the short side, you look to the weakest sectors of the market and look to the weakest stocks in that sector. Anglo American obviously is one of the resource stocks. Our resource sector has been very weak for some time, and this is probably the weakest stock or one of the weakest stocks in the resources sector. So it was a good short all round. Looking at the chart of it, I've got it up on the screen at the moment. There was a major lateral level of what was prior support at 237 Rand, and that goes all the way back to 2009. The stock broke below that level in April of this year, and it's been consolidating underneath that resistance line for the last couple of months or so. And my feeling always has been that it was going to ultimately break out the bottom of that consolidation. What we did for our portfolio at the beginning of May was we went short 390 CFDs at 231 Rand 90, and with a stop loss at 242 Rand. And it's bounced up and down. It's been very volatile, as you can see, but it has broken down over the last week or so. I did indicate on last week's show that I'd banked half the profit at the bottom of that range at 219 Rand 30, but now it's finally given the breakout to the bottom, which I've been expecting all along. And it's actually traded just under 200 Rand a share today, and I've for a long time thought it's going to 200 Rand. I bought our final short position back there at 202 Rand a share this morning. So quite a nice profit all round on the two legs that I've banked there. The net profit comes in at around about almost 8,000 Rand that we've made on this short position, and I've closed that up now. I think given that this market's fallen as hard as it has, banking this profit's not a bad thing to have done here.
Okay, you're saying the market has fallen rather hard. Are there any other new trades that you're looking at?
Yes, so I've got, in fact, 2 new trades this week. And regular viewers will know that I've been a little bit quiet on the trade front this year. I haven't done as many trades as what we've done in previous years. I guess I've been patient and also been a little bit unsure of direction in the market. But, given that we have had a fairly aggressive correction now, I think it would be silly of me not to try and at least take advantage of some of the opportunities in some of the really oversold areas of our market. So what I've got up on the screen now is a chart of the top 40 future. This is a daily chart that goes back to the lows of August 2011. And you can see that this uptrend is still very much intact. This rising trend has been tested on a number of occasions over the past 2 years. And now, with this aggressive sell-off that we've seen over the last couple of days, there's a support area there on that uptrend at about 33,500, 33,600. And we've seen our market fall aggressively into that support area. So I've looked at this as an opportunity to buy for an oversold bounce here now. And it certainly does appear today that we've been acknowledging that support level, that uptrend that I've indicated there, and that we may well be in line for a bit of an oversold bounce from here. So that chart, as I said, is a daily chart of the top 40 future. But now what I want to do is zoom in on the very short intraday data. And this is a 15-minute chart of the top 40 future. This is now the September Aussie future because we've already had our June futures close out last week. So now we're trading futures out to September in this case. Now there you can see the very, very sharp sell-off that we've had over the past couple of days. I mean, that peak over there at 36,600 was basically last week Wednesday. And the market's been declining ever since then. And we've dropped down to just under 33,500 today. So it's been a very, very aggressive sell-off over the last couple of days. If you look at it, however, there's a downtrend there that I've drawn in. And we did begin to break above that downtrend during the trading day today, being Tuesday. And my sense here is that we've now gone out, we've flushed out the stop losses and what have you, just below 33,500. And it certainly was beginning to feel fairly strong in the latter part of today's trading action. In other words, the sellers weren't aggressively pushing it down in every time I tried to pop up. So to me, that is certainly an early indication that we've got the propensity for an oversold bounce here. So what I've done is I've gone long of one contract of the top 40 future at a level of 33,750. Bear in mind that every point on this future represents 10 Rand. So effectively the exposure that I've taken there is 337,500 Rand. My stop loss is 33,350, which means that I'm risking 400 points on this trade. So if I go through the mechanics of it, we've got it looking as follows. I've bought the one contract at 33,750, as I mentioned. My stop loss is 33,350. My risk per contract, therefore, is 400 points, or 4,000 Rand, effectively. That equates to 1.3% of our total trading capital. My target for this trade is initially 35,600. So that's almost 2,000 points higher than where we've gone into the trade. There's potential for it to even go a little bit higher, but I'm going to just see that's my initial target and I'll monitor it as it gets there. And what that effectively means is that my risk to reward ratio on this trade is 1 to 4.62.
All right. You also got a trade going on Remgrow.
Yes, that's right. Also looking at Remgrow from a long perspective this week as well. So I'm putting another trade on also. The chart of Remgrow is up on the screen there at the moment. And what I see here is a very, very well-defined upward trend that goes all the way back also to the lows of August 2011. And you can see that each time the stock has pulled back to that rising trend line, it's bounced off it very nicely. So, you know, you've got to assume that that trend will remain intact until such time as it is proven otherwise. But we've fallen very hard into that rising trend. The stock's dropped about 35 Rand a share, or about 17%. So for a solid company like Remgrow, that's a very nice, healthy correction. There's lateral support there as well as uptrend support that comes in at about 170 Rand a share. So, you know, looking at it today, it does appear to be reversing up off that support level. It's very, very oversold, as indicated by that stochastic oscillator there. So what I decided to do for our portfolio today is I've bought at 172 Rand and 50 cents. My stop loss is 168 Rand 50, and my initial target here is 185 Rand. So if we go again looking through the mechanics of this trade, I've bought at 172 Rand 50. My stop loss is 168.50. The risk per share, therefore, is 4 Rand per share. I'm risking 2% of our total trading capital. Now, our account is sitting at 291,000 Rand after the recent profits that we've made. So 2% of that is 5,820 Rand. So I take it through the portfolio, through the calculation that I always do. I divide the portfolio risk and I divide it by the risk per share. And it gives me a figure of 1,455 shares, which equates to 1,455 CFDs as well. So that's what I've bought for our portfolio this week. My target here is 185 Rand. So that gives me a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 3.1 which is also quite a nice healthy risk to reward ratio. So 2 new trades for the portfolio this week, both of them long trades. I've closed out the short that we had in Anglo American. So I guess I'm well positioned for an oversold bounce in the market here, should we get one.
All right, I suppose now's a good time to get a look at our overall portfolio and how it's faring.
It is faring quite well, actually. So these are now the most recent trades that we've got on our portfolio at the moment. There's the Anglo American trade where we banked the profit in 2 separate legs. Aspen, we banked a nice profit on our long trade over there. And then this week, we've gone long of Remgro, and we've gone long of an Aussie 40 future. So all in all, our portfolio is sitting at just above 291,000 Rand at the moment. That's up 16.5% for the year to date, which I'm very happy with, I must say, given that the market is now sitting down around about 2% for the year to date.
All right, so you're very happy with that one. All right, Garth, looking ahead, you got any courses that are coming up in the next while?
Yes, so I've got another course on understanding CFDs and learning what these products are, how they work, and a little bit how to trade them. That's in Johannesburg on the 4th of July. There's still quite a bit of space available, so anyone that's interested in attending that course is welcome to get in touch with me either on email, garth@traderscorner.co.za, or I'm on Twitter and on Facebook. You can get in touch with me via either of those mediums, and I'll send the details through.
All right, good place to leave it. Thank you so much. That is your Traders Corner for this week. Thanks for watching.
Traders Corner is proudly brought to you by IG, the specialists in CFD trading.